Well, I guess I'm gonna have to say that was pretty fun. I'm gonna smoke a cigarette through this one, which I don't try to normally do because smoke interferes with the camera, but so be it. I just got done watching the presidential debate, the final one between Obama and President Trump. And here's my takeaway from that debate, which I laughed a lot during it. I'll be honest with you. I have to because, first of all, Joe Biden, he tried to say it was still Russia. Still Russia, Russia, Russia. Oh my God, that's like Martha, Martha, Martha back when the Brady Bunch was around. Russia was responsible for the release of this Hunter Biden emails and all this stuff. No, Russia wasn't. And the proof is in the pudding. How do we know this? Well, we know this because the laptop in question, Rudy Giuliani got a copy of the hard drive of it. The FBI's had a copy of it since, I don't know, 2018, 2019. So there you go. It's been out for a while. Russia's not involved. DNI Ratcliffe came right out and said there is nothing in there about Russian interference with this one at all. It's all based on bullshit. Okay, so we already know that's already out of the question. So then we got Mayor Giuliani out there with his copy of it, and he's been releasing notes on pretty much a daily basis. And he actually turned some of the stuff over to the Boston State Police because he was so worried about what was included in it as far as child pornography and all this other stuff in there with Hunter. So there's a lot going on with that. Look up Judy Giuliani, or yeah, Judy Judy Giuliani. Yeah, no, look up Rudy Giuliani. Judy. Sorry, Mr. Giuliani, I have a lot of love for you, and I'm sorry I mispronounced that one pretty good. But it's funny anyway, and I've been laughing all night, so another laugh just doesn't hurt on anymore. But Mayor Giuliani put out all these videos, and he's still putting them out, and he actually took stuff to the Boston State Police that made him worry about it because of child pornography invested in these videos that are on that hard drive, along with some other things. And one of the things that was included into it was, now you got Tony Budulansky. Who is he? Well, he was a business partner of Hunter, who actually got to meet several times with Hunter and Joe Biden, both at the same time in the same place. He was actually the CEO of CEFC in China. So he was out there, and he's saying, hey, you know what? I know Joe Biden was involved in this because I was at these meetings, and Joe Biden was what they called the chairman, and he's the big guy. And there you go. Now we know who the big guy is that Hunter Biden was holding all the money back for. So it's not even questionable anymore. It's out there. Okay, so now we're going to the debate. And this is really, really funny. Because in this debate, he's talking about, well, yeah, well, we changed the way that for all of our deals with the handling of people that get arrested for drugs. We made it so that these drugs people were no longer going to be charged or prison. We took 38,000 of them out of prison and we put them into these rehab areas because that was going to be a needed way to handle them. All right, well, here's my question to Joe Biden. How come Hunter's pipe problem never became part of your program to put him into rehab? Instead, you put him in Burisma. You put him in China. Oh, you put him in Russia. How do I know this? Because it's in the emails that are on his computer. So why didn't you put him into those rehab programs? Because they probably don't work? That would be my guess. But, you know, hey, well, just put a kid into a multi-billion-dollar industry and we'll work it from there. It'll be all right. And Joe, what was your personal stake in this stuff? And how did you bury it so it didn't show up on your taxes? Seriously, how did you bury it? I'd like to learn that lesson. All right. Now we're going to healthcare. We're going to do everything we can to lower your premiums. Meaning that he knows that Obamacare was a failure. We're going to lower your premiums. Oh, okay, that's great. Well, if you lower somebody's premiums, what's that mean to the taxpayer? Higher taxes? That's my guess. I believe that's how it works. That's pretty much the way it works. You lower somebody's payment somewhere, you got to raise somebody else's payment somewhere else. The government doesn't create money. I mean, they print it, but they don't create jobs. They don't sell a product, so they got to get their money from somewhere. It comes from the taxpayers. Well, that's pretty obvious. All right, then he goes into, oh, this one I love. This one I love. He actually messed up really good. Everybody said Joe Biden's not good when it comes to numbers. Boy, did he, they proved this point ridiculously well on this one. Let me get rid of this. They got into talking about the environment. And this one goes quite a long ways into it. I like this one. For years, Joe Biden has been saying, oh no, we're going to eliminate fracking. We're going to eliminate fracking. No, we're not going to allow fracking. There's no way. We're not going to allow fracking. And tonight he reverses course. Oh no, we'll allow fracking. We just won't allow it on state-owned property or country-owned property. But we'll allow fracking. No, Joe, that's not what you said in all these other videos I've been watching. Not once. Not once. And then he goes into AOC's rant. This is funny. I'm sorry. This is where his number game really got out. He says, we're going to retrofit 400 million homes to make them more energy efficient. 400 million homes? Joe, what country are you in? We have 360 million people in the United States. Many of them are homeless living in Los Angeles. So can you please tell me where you get 400 million homes from that you're going to rebuild? And how much is that going to cost? You're going to come in here, my house was built in 1900. You're going to tear my house down and build me a new one? Well, first of all, you're not going to give me smaller windows. Maybe on the front side you can give me some smaller windows, because they're pretty big windows and the sun never really shines on them, so that's a kind of a heat loss for me. But on the side that's behind me right here, there's a really big porch. It's like 24 feet long and 12 feet wide. And I'm getting new windows to put in there that are all UV efficient windows, double insulated pane. I want to insulate the crap out of the ceiling, insulate the crap out of the walls, solar heat that porch. So I could open this door over here and let that heat come into the upstairs of my house, so I don't have to have this electric heater beside me running all the time. If you make them smaller windows, I'm going to shoot you before you walk off my property. I can guarantee you that. Oh yeah, that's right. He's going to take your guns too. Yeah, that's a different story. But we'll play with that one later. And then my favorite one of the night is, if you go by my plan, using solar and using wind, we can totally eliminate oil by 2025, 2050 at the latest, and just switch everything over to solar, wind, and renewable resources. Dude, I'm in 2020 right now. I don't know what year you're in. So if we wait till 2025 to make that happen, according to AOC, we're all going to be dead in 8 years anyway. That's my takeaway of tonight's debate. I mean, there was a lot of funny parts in there, and Trump really nailed it to him, and nailed it to him hard. And he's pretty sober looking, and I'll be honest with you, somebody had to have given that man a couple uppers to keep him awake this late at night, because he's normally in bed by 10. Although he has had 4 days of sleeping in the basement totally uninterrupted with no stepping outside of the house. So maybe that's what it was. He got 4 days worth of sleep, so he could do one whole day of prep and be able to do this one. But I'll be honest with you, that man would never get my vote. He had 8 years to do all this shit, and like Trump said, you didn't do any of it in the first 8 years where you were vice president, and now you think because you're running president you can make this all work? You didn't do it in 8. What makes you think you can do it now? I'm going to stick with President Trump, because you know what? He did more than that in 4. More than that in 4. We got prison reforms. We got deregulations going on. We got new drug companies getting things passed faster than they should be by Operation Warp Speed. We've got opportunity zones so that we can help the people in the lower community areas where they don't have an income opportunity to be able to make an opportunity out of it. We got black colleges now that are getting funded better than any time prior before. We got Hispanics with the highest highest employment rates as ever before seen in this country. We've had 4 of the best years of our lives as far as I'm concerned, and I'm looking forward to at least 4 more. At least 4 more. We got a House of Representatives that can't pass a stimulus check because Nancy Pelosi will not let it pass. Even when they put one out and we said then yes, we will vote on it, yes, we will pass it, they rescinded on it. They rescinded on it. Now they're back at talks again. So what's she do? She puts a 48-hour window on that rescinding it. She puts a 48 window out, 48 hours. It's going to have to pass within 48 hours or all talks are off. And by the way, in case those that aren't paying attention, that 48-hour window was when Mr. Mnuchin got on an airplane to go to Israel to do overseas talks in Israel to help work with the peace movement. So I know they can Skype, I know they can Zoom, I know they can do all that stuff, and they probably are talking back and forth still. But you couldn't do it when he was in town for like the last, I don't know, 9-10 months? When it should have already passed already? No, you wait till he gets ready to leave town and then you put a 48-hour window on it. So there you go, Nancy Pelosi. There you go, your Democratic Party. I'm sorry, you guys all lose in my book, and I really hope you lose in the election this year. I'm not talking just losing because we want to keep Trump or because we want to keep running the Senate. I hope you lose because we want to take back the House. Because that's when real life differences will make it. Right now, all bets are off the table. All bets are off the table. And even Nancy Pelosi said, we may not pass it until after the election. Well, that's only because she's using that as a way to try to think that she's going to be reelected because she needs to be in charge. Well, guess what, Nancy Pelosi? I'm pretty sure I read something about a Republican House member, a congressman, who's trying to get your ass removed. And I hope either you get voted out, however that works, because you're pretty much there for life, or you do get removed by whatever this congressman is doing, because I'll be honest with you, you are not there for the American people. I'm not saying the Republican Party is the best party in the world. I don't believe they are. As my buddy Johnny B says, there's been things said to me that piss me off from the Republicans. But there's no way in hell I'll vote for Democrats. I can take the bad from one, I can take the bad from the other, balance them out, and still vote Trump. And that's what I'm doing. That's my rant for tonight. Y'all have a good day.